Okay, so one of the major things that's going to happen is you will be downloading folders, unzipping them, and using them for your homework. So it's not that difficult to do, but it's much more helpful to understand what to do so your life's a little easier. So what we're going to do is go through the process of downloading a folder, unzipping it, and using it. So in the course website, you want to go to the right-hand sidebar. There'll always be a collection of widgets on the right-hand side, but what you want to do is look for homework files. Click on it. It will bring you to a different page altogether, and that page is going to give you all of the files for the course. Starting with Chapter 2, although I want you to read about Chapter 1, Chapter 2 is pretty much the first time you're going to download the file. Now, this homework page does give you the start files. What you want to do is for each chapter, not only download it, but read the notes about it. Sometimes there's been an error, a technical error in the course textbook that might occur on a certain page, so read my notes about it and then continue on with the assignment. Okay, so wherever you are, what you want to do is just left click on download and unzip Chapter 2 start file, for example. This will be the case for all of the start files for every chapter. So I'm just going to go and left click on that. You'll notice that in the browser you got a big arrow, and what you're going to see is the files that you download from any site, certainly from the homework page web page, is it will load in the base of the browser, and all you need to do is pretty much leave the browser alone. But what you want to do in the Mac dock is you'll notice that there is a downloads icon. It's the icon, a couple icons over from the trash bin. What you'll notice is this zip, the word zip, and if you click once, sometimes you'll actually see a series of files. It is actually sitting in the downloads folder. Now, before we do anything, I just want to also give you a quick orientation of being able to find the downloads folder elsewhere. So what you want to do is come over to the Finder, click once, and if you notice, we actually have a series of links in the Favorites section of the Finder screen, and there's a couple other things going on, but in the Favorites, what you're going to want to know is about Desktop, which is all the files and apps that might be located on your desktop, Documents, which right now I have something loaded right now, that you don't have to worry about. But this is where you can also find the download. So you have two locations, either through Finder or through the dock itself. All you have to do is hover and find the downloads deal. Either way, what you can do is either double click here in the downloads folder, or you can come to the dock, click once also on the actual chapters file, zip folder, drag it to your desktop, and it will be then located. If you notice, it's been removed from the folder once I grabbed it and moved it out of the downloads. So these are actually connected. I'm going to click on the red to get rid of that. Now, in order to unzip a file folder that has been zipped, all you have to do is left click and double click it twice. When you do that, you're going to notice that we have a separate folder. Now it's an open folder from a zipped folder. So basically this is a copy of the zipped version of this folder. Now, all you have to do now is double click on that folder and see the contents. When you go through your homework, the homework instruction is going to say, open the Lounge folder in the Chapter 2 file. You'll go ahead and you can either double click and see all the files within it, or you can actually just click on this little left arrow, click once, and it'll show in the files of that particular folder, and you can continue working on your homework files based on this. Now, Some of you might see a bunch of different icons here. So what you want to also know is any file that you've opened in Mac has a couple of different ways of viewing the files, or that is to say any folder that has files in it. You can view it a couple of different ways. We are in what's called the list view, which is these 4 icons or these 4 buttons on the left-hand side give you the different options of viewing your files. So the second one is the list view, which is showcased by these sort of list-based icon. The left-hand one is what's called icon view, which will give you all of the files in your folder in an icon view. You also have what's called column view. So what you see from left to right is the hierarchy of that folder. So here is the desktop. If you double click on Chapter 2 Arcade Start, it will load its content. If you double click on that folder, it will load to the point of the actual files loaded. So this is what's called column view. And the last is, I believe, is a I don't ever use this, some sort of carousel view. Okay, now the 2 views you'll want to work in are either the list, which is actually the view I prefer, or the column, which is just as well. I'm very happy with column. And the more you work in it, the more you'll get used to looking at the files that you are working with. Okay, now the last thing I just want to mention to you is as you work with the homework files, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out now. The folder has been labeled Chapter 2 Arcade Start. When you work on a homework file, what I suggest you do is actually revise the folder so it carries your name while also maintaining the chapter number. And then everything within that folder should be kept the same. It's absolutely ideal to not rename any of these. Okay, you just want to rename the outermost folder, the one-off folder you get from your zip. That is the folder that should carry your name. And once you're done with the homework, all you have to do to zip it is right-click and then come down to compress Chapter 2 your name, and then you will now make a one-off of the final version of your homework revised folder. Okay, this is the one that you're going to upload to your email and send to me when I ask you to do that. Okay, so once again, don't rename the subfolder or any of these files with your names. What you only want to do is rename the outermost folder, and it's that will also carry your name for your zip. Okay, good luck and have fun with that homework.